Well, I posted a video talking about Jeannie Mai and Jeezy's divorce. And, to no surprise to me, a lot of the women in the comments, they came for me. Okay? They came for me. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to extend this conversation. We're going to address these comments, and we're going to also talk about the root of a lot of these problems that I talked about in the last video with women, with accountability, with the way that they communicate, with the way that they kind of coddle themselves or each other, and how that is harmful to relationships. So starting off strong, okay, we see this comment where this girl, this woman commented, and she said, "This girl is the biggest pick me ever. Girl, I feel bad for you." For what? Like, for what, ma'am? And what's ironic is that a lot of these women who say things like, "Oh, I feel so sorry for you," or "I feel so bad for you," in turn, it's actually that they feel bad for themselves. Right? Because the my ability to be so free and communicate the knowledge that I have of understanding my counterpart makes them feel some kind of way. Because they're not to a space mentally or emotionally where they can understand that everything is not revolving around my feelings, my my how it makes me feel, or my opinions. It's actually about the reality of situations. And once more women come to terms with the reality of how relationships can work effectively, despite your feelings, despite the movies that you don't watch, despite, what your mama and whoever told you how a man's supposed to do, but they don't have the results in their life. When we come to grips with reality, we will have better functioning relationships, healthier relationships, longer lasting relationships. So feeling bad for me is a stretch. Okay, but we're going to move on to the next one. This other woman commented, and she said, "This is dumb. Everybody has a temper. She's not perfect, and neither is he. I have never heard her talk down about him." Now, this is something that I really, really wanted to address in terms of her saying that everybody has a temper. You see, the ideology that everybody has a temper, everybody has a boiling point, and so you just got to deal with whoever's temper you can work the most with. I think this is a little bit of delusion. Because everybody may have the ability to be angry. But when you say a temper, that's saying that everybody goes buck wild. Everybody curse everybody out. Everybody hits below the belt. Everybody, says demeaning things or emasculating things in an argument. And that is just blatantly not true. That's not true. You see, saying everybody has a temper, what it's doing is giving a pass to the people who are communicating ineffectively and saying, well, I'm going to lend you some understanding because I know that we all have a temper. Instead of saying, get rid of the temper. Doesn't mean that you can't be angry. But saying and walking around saying, I have a temper, is holding on to the very thing that can keep you bound. It can mess up your relationships at your job. It can mess up your romantic relationship. It can, make it nobody don't want to be around you because of your temper. Oh, we know how she get. Oh, girl, she just got a bad temper. Saying that somebody has a bad temper is never usually followed by anything positive. Never. It's always going to be associated with something that is negative. And just for the people who didn't see the original video, in the last video when I was talking about Jeannie Mai and Jeezy, I'm going to have the video linked if you didn't see the full thing. But, she was talking about in the beginning of her marriage how she had the quote unquote dragon within her, and she did not realize that she had any anger because she said that nobody had checked her. right? So in nobody quote unquote checking her when she met Jeezy and he told her like, hey, that's not going to fly with me. She realized that she had some work to be done within her. When you yourself realize that you have work that needs to be done within you because somebody has just, exposed it to you, somebody has just shined the light on you and let you know, like, hey, you have an issue in this department. Obviously, it is unbecoming to her once it's revealed to her. We're going to move on to the next one because there's a lot of comments here. Okay, there's a lot of comments and there's a lot of things that I'm going to touch on more than one time based off of the comments that I saw here. So the next thing says, this was a woman. She said, I don't like your message. It is like you are giving off the wrong thing. Like you are saying women should be children to men and behave. How you don't know Jeezy played a part in this. You, the type that will tell a woman she has to go along with abuse and everything else. Now, let me ask a question. Why do women do this? Why do women do this? Why is it that we're talking about a specific topic? We're talking about a specific conversation. We're talking about a specific thing. Why do women have to then reach and grab for things that I did not say that I'm condoning things that I definitely do not condone, just to try to negate the truth in the conversation? Why do women do this? Why? And it's the same thing that you guys do in your relationships. You will have a disagreement with your partner and he will tell you things and the things will ring so true that all of a sudden you have to go and bring up something that has nothing to do with what he's talking about in the moment. You have to deflect and try to create the most obtuse situation because you don't want to stay on topic. And again, because you don't like the message. You don't have to like the message. It doesn't make it any less true. And women do have to learn how to behave. It's interesting because as men have to learn how to behave in society, in life. If they don't behave, there's going to be repercussions. As women, we also need to learn how to behave. It is true. Why is behavior or learning how to behave, why is that only associated with a child? But since you brought up children, I didn't bring it up since you brought it up. Let's use that as an example. When a child is misbehaving, right? When we're looking at this child and saying, hey, don't throw that. Don't hit, don't bite. We are teaching the child the skills and the tools on how they are going to be able to maneuver in society as a whole. We want to make sure that they are the best human beings when they grow up. Right? As women, when nobody can't tell you nothing, when nobody can't point out your flaws, when nobody can't say that you possibly have something to work on, what are we doing with you as a woman? We are creating this person in society who feels like they are above the law, who feels like they are above correction, who feels like a man can't tell them what to do, can't show them, although he's supposed to be providing leadership skills, protection, all of these things. But he's not supposed to be able to tell you how you are allowed to communicate with him. How you are supposed to, quote unquote, behave, although he is responsible for you. As a parent is to a child, he is responsible for you. But in his responsibility, he can't communicate on the ways that you're supposed to behave. Make it make sense. I'm not even going to address the part of abuse and everything else because we all know that's foolishness. Like, we all know that's foolish. That does not make any sense. You'd rather talk about, you're the type to tell a woman to go along with this. But at the same time, you're saying that everybody, the last person said everybody has a temper. And you're saying that women are supposed to be, they're not supposed to be controlled or taught how to behave. But at the same time, if a woman is using her mouth to verbally or emotionally cause harm to a man, he's supposed to deal with it. So only people who are supposed to be covered or protected from something like, harm, emotionally, physically, or whatever, is women. But men are immune to it. This how I know what you're saying don't make no sense. Like, this how we know what you're saying don't make no sense. Okay? This video, I love this comment. This comment said, I think this video is for clicks. Women always hold other women accountable. Who gonna tell her, y'all? Who gonna tell her? When and where? When and where do women hold women accountable? Besides here. In other places like these. When and where? The majority of women go along to get along. They support the buffoonery. They know that they can't tell their friend the truth because if they do, she might not be her friend no more. We're in a space that if you try to correct a woman and tell her like, hey, the way that you're representing us or representing ourselves, you're going to get shamed for it. You're going to get cursed out about it. People going to wring your neck about it. This is delusional. Again, the delusion. Women used to hold women accountable. Women used to be able to hold women accountable. And then we got this new era of women. Can't nobody tell me nothing. My mama can't. My daddy can't. You can't. I'm perfect. I can't do nothing wrong. Even if it is wrong, there's somebody else that I can point out and blame and say, it's their fault why I did this. Let's move on to the next one, y'all. This person said, let me make sure this was the next comment. Yes. This person said, you have zero compassion for her. So he has no blame. Him, I have no idea what she was trying to say there. It's a marriage. It's both of them. And why you keep bringing up her past marriage? Okay. I really want to address this. It is a marriage. There are two parts to play within the marriage. You see, the problem is, you're asking me, why am I bringing up her past marriage? Because there's a such thing called patterns. Patterns. If we look at your past and we are analyzing and we are seeing some faults that you had in that relationship, now we're moving on to a brand new relationship with a brand new person, a whole different scenario, and we are seeing a similar pattern. Does it not make sense to bring it up? You can have compassion for somebody and still tell them the truth. Again, that's the problem with the sisterhood. You think compassion is, I'm going to get in the bed with you and I'm going to cry with you and I'm going to say, woe is me with you. That's not real sisterhood. Real sisterhood is saying, girl, go fix it. Girl, you better try. Girl, don't talk to him like that. Girl, if there's any chance in saving this, you better be the first one there communicating with him. Girl, if he said that that's it and he don't want to be with you no more, you better learn from this. Otherwise, you will end up alone forever. Otherwise, you're going to repeat the same quote unquote pattern again. Let's move on to the next one. So in the last video, there was a point in the video. Again, you guys have to see that one to understand this one fully. But there was a point in that video where a woman was saying, that she feels so bad for Jeannie because, she was in a relationship before and this and that. And, it didn't work out. Now she's with him and it didn't work out. And now she has a child. And, I was stating that her first husband that was with her for 10 years, she could always find him. He was home. He accepted her with her boss chick mentality, all that. And it still was not good enough for her. Now she got with somebody else who wasn't playing that. And it still didn't work. So there was a couple of women who commented and were trying to check me and correct me because, you know, they wanted to let me know. This was a better one of most of the comments I got. But this comment said, her first husband did step out on her and got his now wife pregnant while they were still married. But yes, she does need to take blame in her actions in both of her failed marriages. Again, this was one of the nicer comments. I want to see if the next comment. Oh, okay, no, that was somebody else. Okay. That was one of the nicer comments. But I want to say this to all the people who were saying, oh, he did cheat on her and he was not this and he did this. Do you realize that that is only proving the point of the problem? Do you realize that? This is not making the situation any better. Like, this is not making it where it's like, oh, well, you know, he cheated on her and they were together for 10 years and he left her and now she's with somebody else and he left her. Like, you do realize that this is only showcasing a certain pattern. Now, let me be very clear. I am not saying that every time a man steps out in a relationship, we need to look and examine the woman and see if she's at fault, because some men have an issue, right? And that issue is that they're trying to lie to themselves and trying to convince themselves that they only want to be subdued to one woman, or that marriage is for them based off of societal standards. And they really don't want that. That's true. But there are also situations where, as I said before, a man will either leave because he's not going to tolerate the disrespect. He will either physically leave you or he will emotionally leave you. Because of your disrespectful attitude, the way that you communicate, the way that you hit below the belt, the way that sometimes some of y'all get physical. We have to highlight this. Let's move on to the next one, because again, there's a lot more here and I want to make sure that I get through all of them. This comment said, I agree with most of it and I see why he divorced her. However, I don't agree with just because he was the one that filed, that means she is completely at fault. I was married for almost 10 years to a man that wasn't faithful to me. I forgave too many times, and because I believe in the institution of marriage and marriage vows, I kept forgiving. Things didn't get better until he wanted to divorce me. After all that mess he put me through, still had the audacity to file. Nah. Some people just want not to be committed. I'm truly tired of people saying that the one who files is the one that didn't do nothing to take the relationship. I don't know. Okay, there's a lot of typos here, so just bear with me. I just listen and shake my head because that's not true in all cases. Yeah, he came back multiple times to manipulate me again. I was good, no thank you. We have to understand, when we talk about women as a whole, we can't talk about you and your scenario. We can't take just your scenario and take that to the bank. Because when we look at literal marital statistics, women are the ones who file. When we look at statistics, there are men who will stay in marriages because of the kids, because of duty, because of the shame that they will get from their community, because other people will shame the man while they support the woman when she leaves a divorce. There are men who will stay. So when we look and we see a man who is saying, I don't care about these vows, I don't care about this, I am out, we have to examine that situation very keenly, because most of the time it is very telling of the situation and what happened. And again, when we dial it back, when we rewind the tape and we look at the last situation, what did that person have to say as well? Everybody can't be a liar. Sometimes as women, we have to look within ourselves and say, okay, what did I do to add to this situation? Was I not there? Was I disrespectful? Was I not a safe place for him? Was I not peaceful for him? Was I not comfort for him? Was I running him out the door? Was I demeaning him as a man because I make more money? That's the truth y'all don't want to talk about. Yes, there are cases that women push men into the arms of somebody else, but y'all don't want to talk about that. It's true though. It might hurt your feelings. Don't make it a lie. Okay, let's move on. Next comment says, with all due respect, it sounds like you were on Jeezy's side. We are not in their relationship. You raised some valid points. However, if you did your research, he filed on June 15th. This was right after they got back from celebrating their wedding anniversary in Vietnam. Can we look at Jeezy's past relationships with his children and his baby mamas? I feel sorry for her. I believe she was blindsided. If a man goes on a wedding anniversary trip with his wife and he comes back and files for divorce, let's just use logic here. Let's just use logic. If a man goes on an anniversary trip with his wife and he comes back and files for divorce, does that not mean that there were problems? Just because as the public you see them getting on a trip and they looking happy-go-lucky on the trip, you don't know what happened. Sometimes when you get out the country, that's when you realize, hold up, this is supposed to be our happy time. We're on vacation. We're supposed to be loving each other, communicating with each other in a blissful manner. We're not supposed to be having any toxic problems that we've had at home. This is our chance to redeem ourselves. You see, if you go out with your man on a trip and y'all supposed to be, hanging out there, it's supposed to be a positive time. That's supposed to be getting freaky in the bathtub. And there is conflict on that trip. And he realized nowhere I go with you is there solace. There's not peace at home. There's not peace out the country. There's not peace anywhere. That's how he know the relationship is over. We keep, in this particular video, we're talking about holding women accountable. Everybody wants to pull from the man's side. I'm not talking about him. I'm a woman. I'm talking as a woman, and I know our faults. I know our problems. I know the things that we do to ruin relationships. The same way that everybody wants to come here and point blame at him, why we can't focus on the topic at hand? Why can't we focus on that? You say you believe she was blindsided. Maybe you believe that by yourself. Because a lot of women play the fool when the relationship is over. They play the victim when the relationship is over, but they know why the relationship is over. They know what happened. They know what they did to contribute. They just play the victim for everybody else. Let's continue. This person said, let's stop acting like he wasn't the problem too. He had 2 baby mamas that he made single mothers. He is a self-hating black man that thought he was getting a submissive, docile Asian woman, and it didn't work out like that. So once again, he dips out after making yet another woman a single mother. Can I just keep talking about the fact that every comment that you guys are saying is only proving the point? If he is a man who has never been married, if he is a man who had long-lasting relationships with women, maybe even brought children into the world with these women and did not see it fit to marry these women, and then he meets a woman and decides to marry her, that is only telling me that he thought or he saw something within her that made him believe that she was different than the rest. Okay, this man is in his 40s. He's never been married. If he decides to get married at his big age, that means that he saw something in this woman that he thought was different, that he thought that she was set apart, that she acted in a certain way. And let's not play the fool, women. A lot of women use their representative and they are showing their best version of themselves. They are, waking up in the middle of the night making sandwiches. Oh, baby, let me rub your back. Oh, baby, let me rub your feet. They are showing their best self to show that they are better than the rest. Oh, I'm understanding. Oh, you like a girl picture on Instagram? I'm not mad at all. Oh, I don't got no chip on my shoulder. Oh, no, honey. I am so above that. I am so different. Then the ring come on or they get pregnant. And the true them come out. Oh, where you going? Who you think you going with? Oh, no, you a husband now. You can't do that. Let's tell the truth. It is even more of a reason for him to leave if he decided to marry you because of your difference and then you flip the switch. Now he like, oh, okay, you bamboozled me. Oh, no, I got to get out of this thing. I'm not going to be 10 years into this thing with somebody who, this is not who I signed up for. I'm not about to do this. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This person said, so now I don't like this girl doing the commentary. That's me. She don't like me. Her husband cheated on her. He had a whole baby. The woman was pregnant while they were still together. So yes, he was cheating on her. Research. Okay, I already addressed this. That's only proving the point. That's only proving the pattern. You're not doing nothing. And not liking me is not going to stop me from telling the truth. Okay, let's move on. Same thing. Didn't Jeezy get multiple women pregnant and not take care of any of his other children? He dumps every woman he impregnates. Okay. Then instead of breaking up with Jeannie face to face like a good human, he blindsided her for all the world to see. Whomever is defending him has a super low self-esteem. That's me. She's saying, I'm defending him. I have a super low self-esteem. Okay. First of all, I have not seen anyone anywhere say that he don't take care of his children. I never seen it. I'm not saying they don't exist. I've personally never seen that. A couple months ago, these same women who were mad at him were talking about, oh, you know, their couple goals. Oh, you know, he's such a good husband. Oh, I need to get me a man like Jeezy. Y'all was the same ones. So now when I point out a focal point or a possible reason, because people don't get divorced for one reason. It's always many reasons. When we point out something that she addressed of her own faults, and I am speaking on her own faults that she addressed herself, now I got super low self-esteem. And again, don't get it twisted. Not because she made a post talking about, you know, praying for him. Not because some people do things because they still trying to make it work. Even when it already is already over. Stop with the blind side. Because just like you don't know that, I mean, just like you saying, I don't know that, you don't know that. She could very much know. Next, this one says, you sound as one-sided as a woman without a man. Okay, let's just slide past that. Okay, let's just slide past that. You have no idea what's going on in that relationship. If they wanted to be together for the long haul, no one capitulates. I have no idea what that word is. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't know what that says. And lose their identity to a relationship. They compromise and grow together in their love. When a child is introduced into the relationship, you work harder because your love created something bigger than the both of you and you have more to lose. This is foolish. Okay. This, first of all, let me address this. Okay. Let me address this. You see, when a woman gives insight of a problem that she has within her relationship, she's giving us an ounce of a very bigger multitude of an issue that is obviously being addressed between the two of them. Okay. Even if this is not the one straw that broke the camel's back, it is obviously a part of it. And I would even go out there to say possibly a large part of it. Also, when we have these conversations, this is not only just about the two people that I'm talking about in this one conversation. This is also for a lot of women who are on the brink right now, who have this ego that is unchecked and are possibly going to ruin the relationships that they are in and are going to end up like this situation. Whether that man leaves emotionally or physically, they're going to be alone. That's what this conversation is about. It's always so interesting that when a man decides to leave a woman in a relationship, that's when women talk about, oh, you know, you got to think about the children. And, you know, that's not fair. That's very selfish. You know, you got to make sure that you do this for the kids. But when a woman leaves, it's like, oh, yeah, well, those kids are better off because he was not a good man. Make it make sense to me, because it don't. Okay? It don't make sense. Moving on. Next, this comment says, I think Jeannie Mai was actually admitting to her temper. But if you read Jeezy's book, he also deals with trauma from growing up and he is abandoned. He has abandoned both of his baby moms, so he is not healed. And I think you have to realize people have to heal in order to have a healthy relationship. You can't always blame the women. So what do you want me to do? Blame Jeezy? If you keep saying that there's two people that have a part to play in a relationship, and I'm holding Jeannie Mai accountable, do you want me to now turn around and blame him? I'm a woman talking to women. That's what I'm doing. Can we go over it one more time? He filed for divorce. Is that normal? When we look at statistics, do we normally see men file for divorce? No, men usually stay. Because society will tell them that they're wrong. Oh, I can't believe you left your family. Oh, I can't believe you do this. Men carry the burden of what everybody else will say to him if he decides to leave a relationship. He don't want to be at fault. Women have no problem leaving. Admitting to your temper does not mean anything. Just because she's the one who admitted that she has one does not mean anything at all. You can know that you have a problem and still continue the problem. You can know that this is a major issue and still fight to work on that issue because of you being, so independent for so long and nobody checking you for so long. It becomes a burden to you. This is why I talk to women from now. Don't get stuck in your ways with this burden that you have a hard time fighting because you're so used to it or it's comfortable for you. And let's just go with this, right? Let's say, for example, he did abandon both his baby moms. Let's just say that, for example, okay? Because since I've seen it more than one time, let's just say that is true. That wasn't a problem when she married him. When they were your couple goals, none of y'all brought that up. None of y'all had that issue. So why is that an issue now? Okay, let's move forward. This one said, sis, you started very well. You made good points, but you lost me the longer that you spoke. Respect in a relationship should be mutual. Then submission will be earned and well-deserved by the man. So men have to earn submission. Respect should be mutual, but men have to earn submission after the respect. Okay, so let's just keep this clear. Respect is mutual, correct. Very, very mutual. However, what women want in return and what men want in return out of a relationship, it might look the same, but it's different. Men at the top of the totem pole is respect, is peace. Someone who is cooperative. Women at the top of the totem pole is love, affection, admiration. But there's no way for a woman to get this if she's not giving this. So one has to come before the other. So it's not about him being more important or him being more deserving of respect. It's about order. That's why a lot of women have a hard time understanding this, because a lot of women are out of order. But y'all not ready for that conversation either. I love this comment. This comment said, woo child, the accountability in this video. Listen, I made a video prior to the Jeannie Mai situation, and I was talking about, out of love for women, it's very disheartening when I see women who are in situations or in relationships and they almost get to the mark and they miss it because of ego, because of, their friends around them telling them, girl, you don't need to change for no man. But out of love and wanting women to experience love, out of wanting to see successful relationships, I'm going to hold you accountable. But I love you though. You might not see it as love. You might feel offended at first. You might have to watch, 4 or 5 videos before you realize, oh, wait a minute, she's actually telling me stuff that's going to work in my relationship. But it's out of love though. Genuinely. Okay. This woman commented and she said, as a woman, I totally agree with you. We are called to submit to our husbands and respect them. Our man is our leader, and submitting to him doesn't mean that you're a doormat. Ooh, girl. Marriage is a covenant and it should be your greatest investment. A man's heart is very fragile. I suggest to every woman to educate themselves on how men function. It will save you a lot from heartaches. This is a woman who gets it. And I'm gonna even go to a certain length where she says a man's heart is fragile. I would say I think a man's heart is actually less fragile than a woman's heart. So I would say a woman's heart is fragile, but I would definitely say that in terms of what men tolerate, I would say it is fragile. You see, a woman, we are nurturing, we're caring beings. We tolerate. You know, well, so we say. We say we tolerate because, you know, a lot of these women these days, they get up one day and talk about, you know, the spark was gone. They leave the relationship and tolerance is out the window. But as women, we say that we tolerate more. This is what we say. But you see, men, they have a cap. They have a lid. Once you get up to that lid, there's nothing else that we could do. Right? Once he say that's it, once the respect is gone, once you're challenging his leadership, once he can't tell you nothing, once you get to that cap, the relationship is over. And he can't see you as he once saw you. He can't be attracted or intimate with you in a certain space or manner or love you the same way once he sees that in you, because every time he sees you, that's what he sees. Women say, oh, well, you know, he did this to me and he did that to me and I stayed with him and I did this and, you know, all I did was this one thing and he left me. That's because as a woman, our nurturing, our calming, we're supposed to be like that. That's how we're supposed to stay. We're supposed to be, you know, we're supposed to resonate in a space that is forgiving, that is peaceful, that is calm, that is tranquil. That's the same tools that we use to raise our children. That peace, that tranquility. It's okay. It's patient. That's why when a child does something, they come to mommy and they cry. Oh, I did this. And then, okay, babe. That's why women use the tool. I'm going to tell your father because he's going to come in here with his logical mindset without emotion that I'm using. And he's going to check this child. Women are very emotionally driven. Oh, I love him. We've been together for so long and we did this and we did that. And even though this, you know, I'm going to try to do this and that. A man can love you so much and still leave you because it's not about the emotion. It's about the logic. I love her, but does this make sense? Okay, let's move on. I could keep going, but let's move on. There's a lot of comments. A man actually commented this one. All these other comments you've seen so far have been women, but this is a man who commented this, and he said, "Imagine losing everything simply because you couldn't just stay chill." Wow. And I hate to say it, but so many women experience this. So many women lose the man. Not just a man, because they'd be like, oh, you know, you could get a next man. No. So many women lose the man. The leader, the provider, the communicator, the lover, because they couldn't tame the beast. And the real truth is, a lot of women are looking at taming. And instead of taming, you should be getting rid of the beast. The beast shouldn't even exist no more. It's sad, but this is why I have these conversations. This is why. Because a lot of y'all, if we tell the truth, a lot of y'all are on the brink of losing it. Okay, let's move on. This one said, ouch, this checked the crap out of me. My mouth has always been a problem, and now I'm really realizing it. It's going to be hard, but I'm going to work on it. I may have a second chance at a relationship that I had a hand at messing up. We have to be accountable for things to work. Let me just say this. You see, you being here is a point in the right direction. But you have to just be sure as women that you're not just seeing these things, getting this confirmation from what you see on the internet, hearing these videos, making these comments, and you still doing the same thing. The real work is when you get angry. The real work is when things are not going your way. How are you going to respond? That's your time to shine. That's your time to say, okay, I have to be accountable about this. Let me count to 10. Let me hold up, babe. Babe, I'm not ready to talk about this right now. Can we talk about this in a minute? That's your time to go get a pen and a paper and write down how you feel and not just lash out at this person. That's your time to put the shut to the up and be quiet. When he say he's done talking, you walk away and say, okay, no problem. Can we talk about this later? I love when women are in a space that they actually understand the necessity for these conversations. That they're in a space that they say, okay, yeah, I have to work on this. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm not going to take this and just hear it and be mad about it. I'm going to internalize it and I'm going to work on this to be the best version of myself. As she said, she had a hand at messing up her relationship and now she might have the chance of fixing it. Girl, fix it, girl. I'm here for you, girl. Next one said, I feel bad for her and the baby. She really loved this man. She needs to kick all the family out the house, especially her mom. Go get therapy to heal. Now, I do feel bad. Don't get me holding somebody accountable that I don't feel bad. I do. Very cute baby. It seemed as though, as I said before in my last comment just now, she was at the brink. She realized the problem. She tried to work on the problem. But the truth is that the best thing that she can do is learn from the situation. That's the best thing she could do. And listen, there's a strong possibility she can learn and they could maybe get back together. There is a possibility. We don't know. But it would take her doing a 180. Really evaluating and saying, listen, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I might cut these friends off. I'm not going to hang out with these people. I'm going to do whatever it takes to be with you. I'm going to humble myself. A lot of women don't have the ability to have humility and humble themselves. That's why they lose out. Because real love will cause you to humble yourself. Because you can say you love somebody. You can be attracted to somebody. You can have feelings for somebody. But true love will cause you to be humble. Okay. Next person said, outside of adultery and abuse, if the marriage is over in 2 years, they didn't get ready for the right reasons, period. I won't say that. And let's just be clear. When we talk about abuse, everybody talks about like physical harm, but we have to talk about emotional and verbal. And men go through real things emotionally and feel things deeply as well. Not just because they don't express themselves the way that women do doesn't mean that they don't feel things. And we have a society where we make it okay that a woman should be able to beat up on a man, yell at him, scream at him, curse him out, talk about his mama, and he's supposed to stay because, it doesn't hurt him the way that it hurts a woman. And that's not true. That's not true. Verbal harm is just as painful, sometimes even more traumatic than physical harm. I'm going to keep it real with you. Next, let's move on. I want to get through these last couple of ones. This woman said, when I was a teenager and I would blow up and argue back with my father, one thing he always said was, you better control your temper, because if you don't, your man is not going to want to deal with you. You will always have to have the last word. And I will say, when I got older, I learned to listen to my father and learn how to be submissive. And I'm so glad I did. I've been married to the love of my life for 13 years. Thank God for my father's advice, because if it wasn't for him, I would probably be single and would. This is why fathers who lead first are so vital in homes. Not the father that say, happy wife, happy wife. Oh, well, just do what your mama say. Those do not give you the proper tools to have a healthy and successful relationship in the future. These dads that even when the relationship doesn't work out because maybe the mom had these toxic traits and the father and the mother could not get along because he was not going to deal with that. And these women try to tarnish the relationships with, parent and child, especially if he has a daughter or a son, honestly, both. It causes more harm to the children than it does the father, because he already knows what he knows. He grown already. He already knows what it takes to be, a successful human being. These children are the ones that have to learn how to navigate relationships in their life. So when you tear these children away from their father, you think it's hurting, the daddy is hurting your children, because now she's going to have a hard time navigating what kind of man to be with. And he's going to have a hard time navigating what kind of man to be. I love a father who will check his daughter child or his son. I love a father who checks. Let me just say that. I love that. It's needed. Next person said, it's possible that she didn't know. How can you know when no one checks you? They say, oh, you know how she is. I was the same. It took a strong brother to put me in my place. Every day I focus on what I say and do because you can't ask for what you don't give. That's respect. I believe she did know. But I think she just, took that as a way of like, oh yeah, I'm a strong woman. A lot of women equate like strength in a woman being to have a nasty attitude, being disrespectful, being, uncheckable, untamable. That's what a lot of women, again, attach the strength of a woman to be. And it's not true. Strength is patience. Strength is having a calm demeanor when there's a whole lot of chaos going on. Strength is peace. Not, oh, well, you can't tell me that. You can't. That's not strength. And another thing is that, this woman said that she was the same until she had a strong brother put her in her place. But I just want to also, touch on the fact that there's a lot of women who don't have to be put in their place. I know that a lot of people don't realize that, but there's a lot of women who don't have to be put in their place. This whole, I got to be put in my place. That means that there was something wrong along the journey that made you feel or made you comfortable with the way that you communicate. That's a conversation for a different day, though. This person called her out. This person said, for 10 years, no one has checked her about her attitude. Most women realize that their attitude and their mouth can destroy relationships and avoid accountability. True. They don't care. They don't care. Like, they're like, okay, and okay, so leave then. So go. I can replace you. Another person said, this is real. I lost a 10-year. This is a woman who said this. This is real. I lost a 10-year relationship for the same thing. Lesson learned. Got to keep it real. Got to keep it real. This person said, this is what toxic masculinity looks like. Jeannie thinks she is a dude with a toxic masculine attitude. No man can live with a woman who acts like a dude. Two dudes make doo-doo because they will always be in some ish. No matter how much you might lose from leaving a dude chick, you have to dump her. Listen, once you have a man who's a leader, who is not raised in the mentality that he puts the woman first, above his feelings, above his self-respect, above his honor. Once you have a man who respects himself, there's no way that he is going to be challenged by the woman who he's intimate with in a relationship. It's not going to happen. He's not going to deal with it. He's not going to take it. This woman said, I just know in my eyes, men are supposed to lead, but I'm old school. I don't want to be the woman and man in a relationship. Girl, you could say that again. I just want to be a woman. And I want to say this little tidbit before I continue to read. Do you know how much it takes to be to be a feminine woman? On top of your health, on top of your exercise, on top of, making sure that you are spiritually aligned, making sure that you are, submitting to the authority of your husband or, your man, making sure that you are calm in a place of, like, it takes a lot. You have so much time that you are spending trying to be the man that you are neglecting what it takes to be the woman. You can't even be fully who you are as a woman because you so busy talking about, well, I gotta be the man. No, you don't. You have to be who you are. Some women try to use the excuse, oh, well, I gotta be the man because he's not stepping up. No, you're using that as an excuse so that you can be comfortable doing what you always done. That's a different conversation for a different day. We might have to have a part 2 to this video, a part 3, I should say. This woman said, if you have the right man and he's being led by a higher power God and you let him lead, in my eyes, what he's supposed to anyway, there is nothing he won't do for you. Facts. A man who's a leader, if you play your role, he gonna play his 100-fold. He will cherish you. And Jeezy is one I can't see letting a woman lead him. He seems too much like a manly man. I can't see him letting a woman disrespect him, whether rich or poor. Just don't strike me as a type. This one said, what's up, opinion seekers? My ex tried this and I sent her back to the streets. She was in disbelief, thinking that the marriage was stronger than the respect that I require for myself. She found out the hard way, and now she's single to this day. When I dismissed her, I walked away with a smile on my face because I refuse to be disrespected in any kind of way. Man who respects himself not going to put up with it. That's just the truth. This woman said, God, I wish I had started listening to Rivah sooner. I just lost a good man, and now it's one of my biggest regrets. But I'm glad that I now have the chance to be the best version of myself. This is only your chance to grow and evolve. I hate to say it, but like, you know, sometimes when it's a good, the man had got away, sometimes it is your biggest lesson that you're sitting there and you're still trying to replace that man. But if you change and truly evolve, there is potential that you will be with somebody else. There is potential. If you truly change and you truly check these things. Some men are in a situation with a woman and they put in so much work with this woman. And at the end of the day, sometimes you have to come to grips with, you might be the man that causes her to change for somebody else. Because it might not be you. You might have to be her lesson. And it's sad, but it's true. Okay, your piece might require you to leave. This comment, this woman said, what many people don't realize about marriage is that it provides you a permanent atmosphere to recognize your flaws in a safe space with someone you trust, love, and respect. It's quite literally one of the best benefits about being married. Marriage will refine you and develop you into the greatest version of yourself like no other relationship that exists on earth. The problem is, so many people these days are too selfish and stuck in their ways to allow the transformations to occur, girl. This is also why marriages statistically fail within the first 3 to 5 years, because people don't understand it's the beginning phase of the transformation, which is typically the toughest but most rewarding phase of marriage. Such a shame and a loss. She missed out on a great opportunity to become a better woman. Let me tell you something. This is the truth. And to be honest, I have a lot more, but I think I'm going to end it right here. This is the best place to stop it. You see, when you get into a relationship, that person is shining a light on who you really are. You're going to be able to see what you're truly made of, because this is a standard person. They watching you, they're observing you. They see you when you're angry, when you're sad, when you're happy, when you're upset, when things don't go your way. They see you in every aspect. And if they are able to communicate to you your problems, and if you are able to be accountable for your actions, that's when you will see change. And it's so beautiful, because you get to open your eyes to who you really are. I saw some comments, I'm going to go over it briefly before we end this video, where people were saying, oh, so this is not just a black woman issue. And I have said this from the beginning of my channel. When I talk on my channel, I never talk about it being a black woman issue. This is a woman issue. Especially in the time that we're in society where social media is so rampant. There's people across the globe, even people in other countries, who we would deem to be more submissive or more, docile and passive. That is not true. A lot of women across the globe are trying to, quote unquote, fight for their rights, emasculate their men, disrespect their men, put themselves forward. They don't respect families. They don't respect relationships. This has never been a one size fits all. Now, there are conversations that I do talk about that are, kind of what would I say, different, or I forget the word I'm trying to use, but are selective to just a black women issue, and we do talk about that. As a black woman, I'm going to talk about that. But overall, you guys have seen me cover conversations when it comes. You could be Asian, white, Spanish, black. You could be anything, because it's a woman issue, and we're going to talk about it. Again, I have to say this one more time before I end this video. For the women who are trying, who are in spaces that they can learn from this, learn from it, girl. Take this as the biggest sign waving to you to check yourself. Check your ego. Check your attitude before that man leave you. And again, this might not be the only reason why that relationship did not work out. However, relationships don't usually stop over one issue. And respect being the biggest issue, if respect is not there, everything else is not going to be in line. We have to be honest. This is just my opinion, y'all. As always, again, I had more comments, but I'm not going to be able to address them in this video because we're going to be here all day. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear you guys' opinions on this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.